At the top of this month, there is one story dominating our week. It's the big story. Urban Meyer's administrative leave at Ohio State. This is an outgrowth of the question, what did he know and when did he know it, regarding the alleged domestic abuse involving his former coach, Zach Smith, and Smith's ex-wife, Courtney. Okay, as we start, let's stipulate, I think we all agree, the most important thing here is the issue of whatever did or did not happen between Zach Smith and Courtney Smith, the allegations of domestic violence. Having said that, this, Ryan, and you're an attorney, and that helps here in this is moving at warp speed.
It is. And, you know, I look at this issue, and I try to look at it just for a second in the light most favorable to Urban Meyer, because the issue here is what did he know when did he know it? And he's saying, I just found out last week before he fired him, but there's all this evidence to the contrary. So there's evidence. People have been talking about how the two of them sat down. What was discussed in that meeting to make him not say something to the university? Because his contract says that he has to report significant violations of university rules, and what Zach Smith did or what the accusations are would seem to be that way. And what that makes me think about this is, well, if you're hearing in that room it didn't happen, I wonder how he would feel if the same conversation was happening about someone he was close to, his daughters, someone in his life, and whether he would report that. This all comes down to one thing for me. No matter how you look at it for Urban Meyer, he is going to have to be taken to task, because at some point he had a conversation about something that didn't make it up the chain, and it should have. And I don't know how he escapes that, and I don't know how he gets out of this with his job.
There's an independent committee that's been put together, a blue ribbon commission. It is independent by every appearance, but again, it's happening quickly.
Yeah. And we can, for the purposes of like this conversation, as you mentioned, Bob, we can put aside the actual intricacies of what happened and when, because nobody at this table knows the answers to that yet. But what we do know, and what we've all witnessed over the last 10 years, is a pattern of big-time football programs creating some kind of incentive system or infrastructure that is leading to these types of scandals happening. So I don't think anyone can sit here and have the reaction of surprise and confusion. Maybe you specifically have it when it comes to the details of Ohio State, if you're an Ohio State fan. But when you look at the college football programs across the country, I mean, I can sit here and name, and I feel like we just did this 3 months ago with Michigan State. I can name, to some extent, what happened at Colorado, Florida State, Michigan State, Baylor, Penn State.
At Florida previously, under the same coach.
Yeah, in 2009, even knowing exactly, he knew details of what had happened. So, like, look, you can have loyalty and you can have transparency in a program, but it doesn't seem that you can have both at the same time. Right. And what's your loyalty to when these guys put up on the wall, whatever they're putting up on the wall for their players? Is your loyalty to each other? Because that is going to create a very different reward system than if your loyalty is to honesty and respect.
And I think that's exactly the point that needs to be made. And I think it's easy for us to say, well, this all stems from this culture in which college football has gotten so big. It's so powerful. It generates so much money. And whenever you inject that much money into any kind of a system, it's going to be corrupted, and people are going to make decisions based on things other than what is right and what is wrong. But I'm not sure that this stuff doesn't go on in programs where the big money isn't the factor. It goes on in high schools. It goes on in junior colleges.
Well, this stuff means domestic violence. It goes on in society.
Of course. And I meant the cover-up rather than the crimes. I think we're talking about the cover-ups rather than the crimes at this particular moment in the conversation. But as Kate says, what does loyalty mean? This virtue of loyalty, which we place such an emphasis on, overrides, it seems, in so many of these situations, the more important considerations, which are simply what is right, what is wrong, what is legal, what is illegal, what is, what's bigger than that? What's right or what's wrong?
Yeah.
Is beating Michigan more important than getting to the bottom of this truth? And you heard it yesterday. I heard it on our own program. Today, camp opens, and from the insularity of a team, and they have to find some way, these young men, with an interim head coach, to stay together, but they're going to try and tune out, recognize what's out there, tune it out, being loyal, to your point, to each other. But you see it on the message boards, and you hear it on talk radio. This is a cultural issue. They are the touchstone of a $185 million athletic budget, and this they want a smoking gun before they can believe that their coach did not know about 9 police reports, that if indeed Shelley Meyer had these conversations with Courtney over the years, that it was never taken to their coach. We're being asked to believe that that's the case, that he, by his own admission, got involved in 2009 with this couple on this very issue of sorts, yet in 2015 or 2018 did not. Friday 4. All right, underreported story of the week. How can we have these two guys' names in an under? They inhale, they exhale, they make news.
Yep, I would tell you why, and it's all relatively speaking. Okay, Tiger and Phil are getting together, $10 million winner-take-all golf match, Thanksgiving Day weekend, Shadow Creek, everything set up to be the biggest story. This is the slowest news cycle, people, of the year. We always struggle to find what to cover. This happens, and some coach, I think, gets in trouble for some sort of scandal at Ohio State, and nobody cares.
We are witnessing now the end of the era in baseball after 150 years of organized professional baseball, the end of the era of the starting pitcher, and it starts with the Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, they have basically announced now they've forsaken starting pitching. It's all about just, look at their depth chart.
I love it.
You notice there is something missing.
That.
There's nobody there.
There's a bullpen.
Cash,
they got 3
there?
shortstops. They got 2 third basemen. But under rotation,
I love it.
This is from that. It's blank. It's blank. And you know what? People are laughing about it. People are making fun. They are trendsetters.
Yeah.
villain, a little bit tongue-in-cheek, EA Sports. Now, all right, the Madden 19 game. We know that Colin Kaepernick lyric has been taken out, the song Big Band by YG featuring Big Sean. I was going to play it from my phone, but we got some rights issues. And EA Sports is basically saying it was a rights issue that caused us to take it out of the game. We didn't think we had the right to his image as a player, but it's different if it's a lyric in a song. They're going to fix it, but the same thing happened last year. You would think that any entertainment entity dealing with Kaepernick's name, it's a radioactive item. You should pay close attention to it. And now, I'll tell you what, it stirred up interest in the game.